Well, greetings again, everyone. It's me, Nick Michalak, and the dynamic Steve Frazier.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And we are giving you a commentary on The Batman, the 2022 film, and this is in the wake of the finale of the Penguin series, so we'll definitely be discussing that as the film goes along in the near 3-hour-long runtime. So, pace ourselves, but guys, get your own copy of The Batman. Point your subtitles to follow along with us. Cue up to the timestamp of 0 so we can sync up with the countdown and get going. So, guys, in 3, 2, 1, play.
High five to anyone who's watching along with us while they're streaming on like Max or whatever.
Right.
That totally works too. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, we got through the Burtons.
Yes.
And then we
The
got
Nolans.
all the Nolans, and now we started fresh again.
Yes.
Which is fine by me. I mean, I could watch a million Batman stories.
Sure.
By the way, did you ever watch the new animated ones?
Not
Oh,
the
they're-
Cape Crusader on Amazon?
Yeah.
Not yet.
They're good. All right. Anyway, so this is Reeves. Is that his name?
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves.
He was behind a couple of the newer Planet of the Apes ones. I think like the second and third ones.
Well,
And I think he.
I like them in
pretty
order. Like,
certain he did Cloverfield as well. I think
oh really?
he did with JJ. Yeah. The Dawn and War of Planet of the Apes.
Dawn was fine. War was terrible. I haven't seen the new one.
Okay.
Loved the first one though.
Also did the remake Let Me In.
Oh really?
Let the Right
Yeah.
One In.
I love that movie.
He did that one too. So
Matt Reeves did that?
yeah, apparently.
No shit. I had no idea that he did that. I love Let Me In. Chloe Grace Moretz? Fuck yes.
Yeah, so much of the backstory on this one was because they had the whole thing with the Zack Snyder universe thing going on, and it kind of fell off the rails.
Isn't there an entire movie out there that never got put out?
Well, there's
The Batgirl or something?
Well, there was the Batgirl one which had Keaton in it.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
all twist up because they had Ben Affleck as Batman. He was going to write, direct, and star in his own Batman film, but that kind of went off the skids because he was having a divorce and various other things. He was not in good spirits. So that kind of got shelved, and then they kind of looked around for just a new, fresh reboot or whatnot on the whole thing. And they courted Reeves as he was working on those Apes movies and everything like that. They wanted to have him come in and have a fresh pitch for the whole thing. And the Batgirl thing happened because they were going to do like a slight timeline reboot where Keaton was going to replace Affleck. So it's going to be all the Keaton Burton ones are in the continuity now.
Okay.
But then they shelved the whole thing because they didn't feel like the Batgirl film was very good from what they were saying.
But they literally shot the whole
shot the whole
movie.
movie.
It's sitting on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah, and they wrote it off for tax reasons.
Unbelievable.
So it's a whole mess on that. That's great.
Wow, that's so good. Like, that's horror movie stuff
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
And it's such a crude costume.
Yeah, I like it.
I love that the glasses are outside of the hood.
Right,
like,
right.
that's
a smart
hilarious.
touch.
Hilarious. And he's the current mayor, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Going for re-election.
Got it. So, all of that got jumbled around, and then Reeves stepped in and made this one.
Yeah. Which they caught in the middle of the pandemic. They were shooting for just under 2 months before they had to shut down for 6 months.
Wow. Ow. That is not good.
And so the film finished production like a year after it was originally scheduled to finish production. Because it was originally scheduled to come out in 2021, like October 2021. They had to push it back like 6 months after beyond that.
Right, right. And the idea is that now we're just going to start a whole new string of films.
Right. It's interesting, not to get too deep on it, but right now they're doing, with James Gunn's new Superman movie, they're kind of doing a fresh, clean slate thing, but this is going to still exist as its own separate thing, because DC always had, for a long time, had this thing called Elseworlds. We can kind of take the same characters but tell a story in a different universe, a different take on the characters that's separate from continuity. So, like the sequels to this,
like a side quest almost kind of thing, like
sort
a
of,
lateral,
sort of things like
a lateral shift.
They would do like Gotham by Gaslight, so it's like a late 19th century Batman story, stuff like that. This is less on that regard, but at least they'll have this running concurrently with that other universe and kind of label it a little bit differently. So there's some sort of direct things you're not seeing, thinking like the new Superman exists in this timeline. It's all a little bit different trajectories.
Okay. Some very interesting shit happening here. Because this takes place around Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's interesting because, like, the Nolan films were kind of inspired by the same ones this one was, like Batman Year One and The Long Halloween, but they definitely take different cues and different vibes from those stories. Because Reeves said he was going all the way back to, like, the very beginning, like 1939, and kind of working his way forward to find out what elements he wanted to inject into his version of Batman. And make it much more of a detective story than we really haven't gotten as much in the past.
Drophead.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. I Can't Be Everywhere is a great segue
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
why he's nowhere to be found in the fucking Penguin show.
Right.
We can save it a little bit, I suppose.
We'll wait
but
until Farrell shows up and gets
okay.
a little juice.
All right, but I guess that's the excuse that we're going with.
Yeah.
Even though he is kind of everywhere in this movie. But I guess he's not, because
Right.
had they chose...
We're kind of focusing in on a certain story here. So
Right,
like
right.
all the regular street crime type of stuff. You can't be stopping a burglary and a murder and all the other things happening in 12 different locations across the city.
Right. He's only one...
To make himself feel omnipresent to the criminal element with this persona.
Isn't it interesting that we've started at this point?
Right. We're not starting again with the very beginning,
the origin.
Shooting the parents and whatnot. I like that. It's a nice, fresher way to go about it.
Well, yeah, because we just...
And as the film goes along, it fills in other details of a backstory that's not the typical parts of the backstory we get explored. Batman's been around for, fucking 80 years or whatnot. Everyone knows the general beats of his story. You don't need to tell it all over again. You can start a little bit later into his beginning with still having an arc to have him go somewhere in the film. And that was so much what Reeves wanted. Is like, he didn't want to tell the story, the same old story again. He wanted to, this is the year 2 story. He's been at it for a little while, but he hasn't figured it all out yet.
I know that it was very polarizing when What's-His-Nuts was cast as Batman here.
Pattinson.
Yes,
Robert Pattinson. Didn't know
Pattinson.
as much about what he'd been up to for the last decade or so.
Well, and it's almost like he became typecast or saddled with this stigma, right, of the Twilight. And I think, my girl kind of overcame that because she had done
Kristen?
stuff. Yeah,
she's good. She's really damn good.
She had done stuff before. She's done different stuff after.
Yeah.
But Pattinson and the other guy, I can't think of his name now.
The guy who played the wolf guy?
The other guy.
I don't know. Taylor or something?
Taylor, yep.
Something like that.
Lautner? That's right. All right.
That sounds right.
Sorry, I watched all the Twilights in real time, but I haven't since. Like, I think both of those gentlemen were kind of shoehorned right into this idea that they were stuck with that for forever.
Sure.
You know? But
yeah, Pattinson, he went off and just did a lot of indie stuff. And once people started talking about this stuff, and I didn't actually watch any of the films, but learning about what he'd been doing, is like, I got no problem.
Well, I remember...
Because they're all so much acclaimed stuff. On such a smaller scale, but he was working with great filmmakers, making really challenging roles.
I remember when this came out, even amongst my friend group, it was like, I love Batman, but I don't know about Pattinson. That's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I did not watch this in the theaters. I know you did.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't go. I should have, but I feel like in the last, 4 to 5 years, I've really not been...
Right.
Like, post-COVID...
It was a little sketchy at times.
It really had nothing to do with COVID, other than...
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't afraid to go to the cinema.
Sure.
It was just, I stopped going. And
you get out of habit, sort of thing.
Right,
so
right.
It kind of loses its satiation.
It just, I wasn't in the habit of going, like, every couple of weeks like I had been.
Yeah.
For most of my life, if not, more than once a week when I was working there.
Yeah.
So, the convenience of home streaming and whatever.
Right.
So I watched it on, I think, Max when it came out, and I loved it. Like I think this is a great movie.
Yeah,
it's a little long-winded, but I like it.
Yeah,
and I've really been trying to be better about going to the cinema now,
sure.
And I've gone a lot in the last couple of months, so I'm feeling better about myself.
But I poured through there's like 2 hours worth of bonus material on this fucking set. It's all incredible stuff. But like, I like their kind of approach to what his fighting style was, because they look more towards like MMA. Not like he's going off and training with ninjas and stuff like that. It feels a little bit more a practicality, because it's not so much spoken or whatnot, but it's kind of the inference that Alfred, as he is kind of in the comics most of the times, was a former like British military MI6 type of guy. So those would be kind of the skills he would probably have to kind of teach Bruce, whether it was just bringing him up and trying to teach him some sort of focused discipline or helping him towards this end specifically. Feels more like something like what you'd get from a military background and move it on to him.
I really like this scene because it just reinforces the idea that he's just a civilian.
Yeah. And he's not gotten in the grace, it feels like. Some people are just kind of tolerating him because Gordon gives him a pass. And I like the fact they keep that actor coming around in the film. It's really, again, it's a little bit that Stephen King thing you're talking about. Have a guy who can have a prominent point at one point in the film, keep looping him back through to have a certain thread with them. Right.
Like, if you're going to have somebody do something minor, even if it's minor, like having them show up later on in some capacity as a wraparound is just brilliant storytelling.
Yeah.
And our boy here, Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright.
Outstanding.
Actor, yeah.
Oscar nominated for American Fiction, yeah. And
right.
What a great movie that was. Oh, my Lord.
I like that.
But yeah, like, here's just this regular civilian, and the police are like, you can't go in here.
Right.
And we kind of have, like you were saying, this is more of a detective story, right? Like, in our last commentary, we talked about the movie Seven, because it was written by the same guy that wrote Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
This actually feels more like 7.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people kind of equate it to that in a lot of cases. And I love the cinematography on this film. Greg Frazier, because he's also shot the recent Dune movies for Denis Villeneuve.
Okay. Which I've not watched.
No, I haven't either, but just people have spoken very highly of a lot of the technical, like, cinematography qualities of that, because it was all IMAX and everything.
This feels like 7, though.
Yeah.
This scene in particular.
One particular thing they did with the film, because they shot it digitally, but they wanted to have the texture of film, so they actually shot it all digitally, then printed it onto negative film stock, struck it interpositive, and scanned it back into the digital realm. So they want to
Interesting.
One had the advantages of digital. You move fast and can shoot low light and stuff like that, but they wanted to have that film grain texture to it. So they didn't just throw a freaking plug-in on the timeline or whatnot. They actually went through the process to make an actual film that was actually being scanned from.
I also really like... Okay, let's call back for a minute.
Yeah.
Everyone think back to the Jim Carrey Riddler.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Which, on paper, sounds great. Visually, looked great.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Carrey was a fantastic Riddler. As far as the imagery, the stylization, right?
Sure.
What's the one thing that was missing from that? The fucking riddles.
Yeah. If anything they had, there was just like, this transparent as shit. It's not that clever.
This is already a better Riddler.
Right. Because it's tied into a mystery. It's not just like, I'm baiting you into some other, oh, I'm going to rob this place, and then that's going to be the riddle I'm going to try to fool you with. It's tied into a deeper story overall. So it's got a almost an encryption type of deal with it. They got ciphers and different things, and so it's much more involved. It's part of a bigger plan overall.
How about this? Yeah.
So much. I mean, he's seeing himself right there. Pattinson does great work with the eyes in this whole thing. It was so much the fact of knowing when they wanted to have a light to see his eyes and some points where they wanted to obscure them. So it's like there's very particular things they're doing with the artistry here.
The actor that plays the cop there, I believe is the same actor that's on The Penguin, yes?
The one with the mustache and the kind of gravelly voice.
The beak nose there. Yeah.
He's the same guy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The one that was just standing in that shot. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, with all the decorated outfits.
Yeah. It's the one that's standing on our left.
Yeah,
yep, the hat.
On the left with the mustache
and
hat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same guy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And we'll see it much later on in the film, but they shot both in the UK, like Liverpool, and they shot some other stuff, Chicago.
I was going to say, that looks like Chicago.
What they used for Gotham Square Garden was the Thompson Center.
Oh,
and
sure.
They used some like CGI and some accoutrements, everything.
Yeah.
That's much more close to like Millennium Park there with some CGI additions to the skyline. So, and interesting, the Penguin series is shot in New York, but it all feels like it's all part of the same organic city because they used amalgamations and used
generic
digital effects to kind of marry different things to create their landscape and just use what they had practically as sort of the basis.
It feels a lot better than in the Nolan films.
Right. I mean, Batman Begins, they kind of did a little bit of that, but once they got past that, they just really...
They gave up.
They really kind of gave up on the design of it all. A lot of what they were saying is like they wanted to feel like New York of the 70s. That kind of grimy era of everything.
Right.
It's a little dank and sleazy in some places.
The way that they showed their quote-unquote Times Square, though, not true to the period.
Right.
If that's what they were going for.
Right. But at least taking certain vibes in a certain way, a tone to a certain degree, but still keeping a modern setting for the film.
It even said year 2 on that book.
Yeah. And I like this little gimmick with the little contact lens video eye thing.
That's a really smart thing.
It's a clever idea.
That's a great shot, too, with the makeup.
Yeah. They wanted to make it so... Because typically, they would never show the actual actor with the mask off with the eye makeup, even though you knew it was there all the time. But they really want to make it kind of expressionistic in this way. Because also the thing is, like, they took a practicality. It's like, underneath that mask and everything, he's hot, he's warm, he's probably sweating, especially with the physical exertion he does beating up guys all night.
Yeah.
Have that add to the look of the character. The black eye make, the kind of sweat pouring down, everything.
And I don't think I could say enough good things about Andy Serkis.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
And not just in this.
Yeah,
everything. I mean, in life.
Yeah.
The man is...
a class individual. And extremely talented.
Like, so ahead of his time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's up there with your Burgers and your Nicoteros and your Savinis. As he should be talked about. I mean, obviously his stuff is more digital and whatever.
Right. But in terms of creating a different style of character.
Right.
Your Golems, your Caesars, everything like that.
Right, exactly.
He's an actor, he's a director, he's all different. He's
but he was also
a Renaissance man overall.
He was also involved in the technology of those things.
Right.
Like the technology of Gollum and the ape.
Yeah.
What Caesar. You just said that.
Yeah. And King Kong too.
And King Kong, right. Like he belongs on a Mount Rushmore of like sci-fi or visual effects. Right, pioneers, yeah.
Because if you have the technology, you have to have the performer to make it real.
Right, and he did it.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a world-class talent. Or he is doing a digital thing, or he's in the flesh on screen, anything he does.
Right, like this is completely different.
I've never seen a bad performance from the guy. I mean, he's in the Prestige as well, and he's fabulous.
Oh, right.
With Bowie and Jackman and everything. Great stuff.
God, I love that movie.
That's stellar.
It's also interesting to see...
And even Alfred's like,
yeah.
Resident.
It's interesting to see the portrayal of Alfred as not a geriatric.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Michael Caine was old, but he wasn't as old
he
as...
played quite as old.
He didn't play it as old as Goff, right? Who was super old.
Yeah, much older.
Look at that.
Yeah.
He's beat to hell.
Yeah, I like it.
You will never convince me, though, that, like, the idea that people don't recognize Bruce Wayne, like, I don't know.
I mean, at least in this thing, it's totally revealed. He's just recluse. He doesn't go out in public with a damn. He doesn't take care of the business. Anything. Which almost reflects the psychology of what I like about Batman, this compulsion he has. One of the things that Pattinson said about his portrayal, that he felt like every time he goes out there at night, he's reliving the night his parents died. And he's inflicting that trauma upon other people. So that so much informs exactly what he's doing with every scene in this film.
And I love that he's trying to break the code, you know?
Yeah. Again, that shows that kind of like British intelligence background. A guy who's dealt with ciphers and sort of breaking other countries' secrets and everything like that. He's got a skill set. Mm-hmm.
So, again, well, first of all, I was going to say that I like also that Alfred is almost a partner.
Yeah.
Like, Alfred's always been knowledgeable and caring and understanding.
Right.
But I feel like he's never been portrayed as, like, an equal.
Right.
You know, in a way, I'll help you out actively.
Yeah, if, as we go along, it feels like Alfred's a little sad that this is the way he's gone down.
Yeah.
But he's still willing to help him out in the process, because if he were to detach himself from Bruce, it would feel like that'd be the worst thing possible for him to do in the situation. So he wants to keep close and to kind of give him the tether.
Okay, that being said, that walking it back a second to that cipher and how you know, like, only putting in that means the negative, like, and it shows the word, like, we're already 10 times better than the Jim Carrey Riddler character.
Yeah. Not even competition.
Right.
I love the
thumb drive.
Love the fucking dry cynicism, I guess. Like it's a bad dad joke. And Gordon is like, fucking guy.
Oh, I love that face.
I like Wright's performance. I like how they characterize Gordon here. He's like, for fuck's sake.
Whoever's thumb that is fucking huge, by the way.
Jesus. It's loaded.
I mean, it's like 6 inches long.
Oh, yeah, it's thick. Oh, shit.
The Iceberg Lounge. What a fun name for a place that the Penguin runs.
Yeah. Was the Gotham Iceberg Fish Company they took over. So they retrofitted some place off the docks for
it. Twins?
Yeah. Nice.
Great line.
I like that he's got a little dry wit to him.
Yeah. When I heard that Colin Farrell was going to be cast in this movie,
sure,
I thought, that's an odd choice.
Sure.
Given
what you know of the Penguin.
What I know of the Penguin and what I know of Colin Farrell. You know, if you dial up In Bruges,
sure,
it's fucking brilliant and wonderful.
He's a great comedy actor, too.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, he and
Gleason,
couldn't think of his name. He and Gleason together are just magic in all of the films they've done. And I thought, well, okay, how are we going to do this? And then we see this.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, I'm, to this day, I've watched this a few times.
Yeah.
We just finished The Penguin. It just aired the finale last week.
Good. Yeah.
And I can't. I don't know how Colin Farrell is in there.
The makeup job is fucking incredible.
I don't know how it's done.
I mean, some of the stuff is so interesting. One, for the film, he actually shaved the middle portion of his hair, his scalp, like right down the middle.
Okay.
So they could do the work. The series, he did, so they had to put a bald cap on, which kind of lengthened the process doing the makeup.
Which I bet was because of some other work.
Probably something.
Yeah.
But he had just done before this something where he packed on a lot of weight. And they asked him if he could keep it on, but he said, it's causing too many health problems for me, I got to drop it. And so they had to build the whole thing out, and the guys who were designing this thing they were mentored by Dick Smith.
Okay.
Who had done, like, The Exorcist, everything like that, like the grandfather of, like, amazing special effects makeup. And they literally looked at actual penguins and added little things like the crook of his eyebrow, the kind of point of his nose, very subtle things. And also looked at, like, old gangsters, whether in film or reality, just trying to find all the little things to add into it. And god damn, you can't tell. I mean, Farrell was talking, because I was listening to, like, the official podcast for the companions of the series.
Okay, sure. I haven't listened to those.
But he was having such a thing that, like, he never wanted anyone to have the penguin voice coming out of his face, particularly without the makeup on. So when he did a table read, he wore a balaclava over his head.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And he never wanted to be on set without the makeup on or something else like that. He didn't really want to break the illusion too much for anyone on set. He wanted to keep it kind of tight in that regard. So it's not really a method actor thing, but it feels like someone who has so much of almost the inverse of that, to my degree, because he's so much a guy who feels like he can separate the two, the guy from himself from the performance, but wants to keep the quality of the character and the performance, the illusion intact for everyone.
There's been a lot of cases of that over the years, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really did not care for on the Penguin show is how they waited until the last about 4 minutes to introduce the idea that Selena was the half-sister of the main girl on
Sophia.
the Penguin, Sophia. Because I feel like there's no mention of Sophia in this movie, at least that I remember.
No.
And there's no mention of Selena, like,
beforehand in the series.
On the show, you could argue that Sophia is just as much a main character as the Penguin.
Yes, she is.
And therefore, and all of the show is about her family.
Yeah.
And at some point, don't you think it would have been mentioned that she had a half-sister? Especially who has
it was Selena who only knew. Carmine didn't know.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a little better. All right.
So
we're working
Carmine
through it.
doesn't know, who else in the family is going to know? Selena's the one who knows because her mother told her about it.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, all right. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I'm good with this.
And this idea of the drifter character, that he's not going around the entire city in the suit.
Right.
It was taken from Batman Year One, where Bruce in his early days had that character, that version of himself, to kind of sift through the people and be undetected.
I think it's kind of funny that he's got his mouth covered here, but when he's in the suit, he leaves it
the other
open.
way around.
Boy, she's kind of got a little closet of naughty there, doesn't she? Really great stunt work there.
Yeah.
Like a normal person would just leave via the stairwell.
Right.
This looks like Chicago.
Yeah. That's the Thompson Center. Done up for this film.
That's so great.
Yeah.
God, I love Chicago.
Yeah.
The rope supported her weight all the way down, and then all she had to do was tug on it, and it fell down. Tell me how that works.
Yeah. How are you getting out?
Well, why didn't it fall while it had all of her weight on it?
I'm just saying.
This is a little beyond cat burglary, eh? I mean, she's straight up like, this is criminal shit.
Yeah, it's real heavy duty.
Like Bad Santa. Great sequence.
Yeah, it's all really good at choreography.
She realizes she's kind of met her match here.
Yeah.
She may be faster, but she's not stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna kick your ass, and then all of a sudden it's, hey. Is that really a thing? Would there be police, like, guarding the door?
Saying it is the mayor's estate.
I suppose, but...
I mean, it's not really needs to be still an active crime scene, but... I don't see it beyond the realm of possibility. So you wouldn't want to have, like, paparazzi breaking it and
well,
taking
sure,
photos
yeah,
and
I guess.
So
I guess.
There's probably still... Well, since there's a safe and stuff like this, there's still sensitive material in there.
Well, also, wouldn't the rest of the family... Or did he not have another family? I guess it was just him and the kid. Him and the kid.
Yeah. But I just like the fact that what brokers the kind of trust there's like he could have easily just let her get caught.
Right, right.
But he kind of like protects her in that regard. It's like, okay, he wants to know the truth instead of like having her get run up the entire thing and get railroaded with the entire situation. He wants to get to the bottom of this thing.
Well, he also thinks that maybe she was involved.
Yeah. And he'd rather handle it with a more delicate touch than having a giant publicity thing of her getting run into everything. Get blow up. If he can handle it, he can keep it more quiet and kind of get to it in a more intricate detail. Because he doesn't know nothing right now. He'd rather take the time to see if he can get answers from her in a more discreet way. So I just like I adore their chemistry in the film. These two, Zoe Kravitz and Pattinson, are great.
I love the Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
Riddler's always been my favorite character. That's some Saw shit there.
Yeah, there's...
Zoe Kravitz.
Mm-hmm.
Is her mom Lisa Bonet?
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, Lenny Kravitz.
Right. I just didn't know. Arn Anderson apparently is the head of the police. I didn't know if that was... She looks like Lisa Bonet, so but I don't know that timeline very well. I've never been a Lenny Kravitz guy. I don't really get into the songs. I don't... Sure. I mean, I know he's uber talented. I wasn't a Prince guy
either.
He's in
his 60s and he's ripped as shit, man.
Yeah, I know. He looks fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't a Prince guy, and I feel like they're on the same kind of ballpark.
Trajectory and whatnot. You can crisscross them a little bit.
So... Not to say that I don't respect either of them.
Sure,
I just
it's not your flavor.
Just not my flavor, right? But I love Lisa Bonet.
Oh yeah, she's lovely.
I think she's the only reason that I ever paid attention to Lenny Kravitz. So
sure.
It's her roommate?
Yeah.
That was taken? Okay.
Yeah.
Aw, I love cats. I don't know about you, but...
That raw humor again.
I'm a cat guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've got this one here rubbing all up on her.
Yeah.
It's a working cat. You can't... I thought it was really interesting when I heard that they were going to do a Penguin show.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because in my mind it was going to be either concurrent or a prequel.
Okay.
I had no idea that the Penguin TV show was going to pick up where this movie left off. So, after hearing that, or seeing that, it kind of made me sad that this movie wasn't just an 8-episode TV show. If you're already going to go 3, I'm totally down with seasons of a show being like movies in a in a series.
Yeah.
But I don't mind if we're going to go back and forth. It'd be interesting if they did yet another TV show at some point.
I mean, they were going to do a Gotham PD one, but that fell through, and an Arkham one, but that kind of fell through. I mean, considering Penguin's been such a big hit, they're kind of considering a second one, but I don't know if that's going to happen before the next movie.
Well, right. We still don't know the fate of the Penguin.
Right.
I mean, his story isn't done.
I mean, it's said that it's been reported that Farrell is contracted for 3 movies entirely, including this one, so he's signed on for a trilogy of films. How much he's going to be...
Well, does the series count as, the second one, though? Is it true films?
Well, I think I read this. Farrell has gotten a script, and he's in, maybe 5 or 6 scenes in the second film as well, so it's almost equated. So, we don't know a plot for the second film yet. There's a lot of hints and clues, and people are conjecturing, since this came out, what it could be.
I saw something literally yesterday that said that Dick Grayson was going to be a character.
Well, I haven't heard that, but well, it's a possibility. People have been saying that it might happen. We'll see where it goes. They haven't announced any real casting details or anything like that. They only just recently finished like the shooting script, and they're going to start filming in a couple of months from now.
And it comes out October of 26, I believe.
Yes. So it was kind of really advantageous to do a Penguin series that kind of bridged the gap in a time from March 2022 to almost like 4.5 years to the second film.
Right, but if they didn't do the show, wouldn't they have just made the movie right away?
I don't know. If you haven't got the script done for the sequel yet, I guess...
Right, but I think they decided to do the show so they didn't work
buy them more time a little bit.
Right.
To kind of flesh it out.
Yeah, you can barely see his eyes through there.
But you can tell these two got spark, man. A lot of spark. And she's so good at it, too.
She hasn't really done a lot, has she?
Oh, in terms of like an actress? And
Yeah.
I'm not really familiar. She did just direct her first film. I think it was that Channing Tatum film, Blink Twice. I don't know much about it, but... She was born in 88, so she's been around for a while.
She's been alive for all of the modern Batman films.
I'm just looking at her Wikipedia. There's like a whole bunch of different things just in her summary of her career. There's a lot of stuff on here.
Yeah. Oh, Fury Road she was in.
She's been around.
Yeah, look at that.
Fantastic Beasts and X-Men First Class. Voice work and some stuff. So.
What great technology, right?
Yeah.
Like, why are we using this actual technology?
All right.
This whole idea of a contact camera. Like, can't we just have this for everyone? Yeah, she shouldn't have her tits hanging out like that.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah, go back to him.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, she is really good.
She's got that charisma, that...
So this is Peter Skarsgård.
Sars.
Yeah, not to, yeah. I always
lineage.
Yeah, SARS. No K. Sarsgaard. Also a very good actor in his own right. And I am like absolutely the worst person with memory on people's names.
Yeah. Doing a really good job of playing him.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's all doped up.
Oops. Oopsie. Why would he be telling her this?
Because one, he's doped up, and two, he wants to get a little something more out of her. She was giving him the eyes, and she knew that was going to open up the whole damn Pandora's box of lust. Hanging on to her like a sick puppy.
Yeah. God, I cannot get over this.
Oh, John Turturro, man. It was kind of the weird thing, because for this Penguin series, they recast him with Mark Strong. And apparently the word was, because Carmine in the series does a lot of more violent things. He doesn't really do a lot of violent things, but it's more about the fact, like, he has an aversion towards being depicted with violence with women, despite the fact that he's still characterized the same way in the show, in the movie, and ends up trying to strangle Selena to death later in the film.
Right.
But I guess it just more heavily explored in the Penguin series, and he just didn't want to involve himself. But Mark Strong's a fantastic actor. I had no problem whatsoever.
He really is at her mercy in this whole operation, right?
And that's the thing. She's got her. Their paths kind of cross. They're kind of intertwined into the same thing, but there's definitely divergent paths they want to take towards different goals. And she's so fiery and feisty that she can't really control it. She's going to do what she's going to do, and that's very much a Selena from even the animated series.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's always the thing. They get really close, and they feel like there's definitely something there, and they could go further with it, but there's always just that idealistic divergence between the two of them that they just can't quite get over the hump with each other. She wants to kind of go off towards the kind of the dangerous bad side, and he's Batman is Batman. He can't go that far.
They're a Venn diagram,
right?
And like the part
parts that overlap, but there's too many things that don't.
The part in the middle is so steamy,
yeah,
and great.
And that's what I love about these two in these roles, because they just embody that perfectly. They got the steamy qualities, they got the chemistry, but you see exactly why it can't quite get as far as they want it to.
It took me till right now to remember that Jennifer Connelly is the actress whose name I was trying to remember, that it is his wife.
Oh, okay. Lucky man.
Yes.
Hell of a lucky man. She looks fabulous.
Yeah, they've been married for forever. Like, I think they were even married when she won her Oscar for A Beautiful Mind.
Mm.
This was quite an interesting shot with the blurry.
Yeah,
like
how they're willing to be kind of stylistic with that type of thing. I was going to bring it up later, but there was a deleted scene they had after they're in the morgue, and as you know, at the end of the film, they kind of reveal kind of a Joker for the franchise.
Correct.
There was a scene that happened because as the film's kind of like, these are kind of primordial versions of the characters. They're not quite them yet, as we know them later on. They're not quite the Riddler as much, not quite as Catwoman as much. And it was supposed to be that character who would become the Joker later on, Batman going to him like he's Hannibal Lecter. Going to the psychopath to get insight on another psychopath.
Okay.
But as that pertains to the cinematography choice, they shoot almost the entire scene with the character completely out of focus. As he's in...
Oh, so you don't even know who...
the glass barrier thing. You kind of see
and you don't know
Batman
who he's talking
wires
to
in the safety glass, but he's completely out of focus for about 98% of the sequence. So they play it in a very stylistic way to teach you about what it is, but without having to kind of reveal it more artistically.
I kind of like that the way they did it, though.
Right.
I
like that they cut it out because as I watch, it's like I can get it for a world building type of thing, but you don't need it for the story at all. It's perfectly fine, kind of teasing at the end.
I also think it'd be better if Batman solves it on his own,
right,
and doesn't use another criminal.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I get the compulsion to do it, but the film works much better without it.
And who's the actor that plays the Riddler in this? Is it Barry Keoghan? Okay.
Yeah.
Who is on his own like trajectory of like into the stratosphere?
Yeah. And this is very interesting. How they shot this. This is not an actual location. This is all soundstage.
Okay.
They're using a new technology that was like all LED screens called Stagecraft or the Volume, where it's just all LED screens, but it's kind of a malleable sort of projected environment where one, you have all the actual light shining on the characters, on the actors. You get reactive, interactive light and everything like that. But they can, on a whim, they can change from night to day. They can change the position of the sun, everything like that. So it's a very controllable environment with a very photorealistic background.
So it was just the backdrop that was LED?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Because I was going to say the front part looked like a set.
Instead of trying to do a blue screen or something like that, you're actually having something physical in the background that has a photorealistic depth to it.
Right.
That you can work with.
And you can also see it as the actor.
And it can move with the camera if you want to and stuff like that. So it's all very much a revolutionary thing, especially when you're talking about like having that developed right before the COVID age. You can work with a much smaller crew on a soundstage and trying to do everything on a location and having to deal with just the logistics of where the sun is and how the weather is that day and stuff like that. It's a controllable environment and create a much more of a realistic sense of things.
Well, if you look at
all ILM.
If you look at the technology that is the Sphere in Las Vegas,
sure, yeah,
like if that doesn't blow your mind,
yeah,
with what we can do, with LEDs,
yeah.
Like, you could literally do anything now.
Yeah. I like, we're just talking on the scene, but I like the fact that Alfred's like, oh, you're finally making an appearance, and he's talking about, like, you're Wayne, you gotta have some cufflinks, and he's got Thomas Wayne's cufflinks, and he gives them to Bruce. It's like all these nice touches. Like you got to line appeal with the Riddler.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Well, he's got a fan base, right?
Yeah. It's creating a world for the film.
Right. I mean, I would have been one of those people out there rooting for the heel.
Sure.
Right? Look at that car. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this location was in Liverpool. But it
feels like the same place.
Right. Because, again, they like wider shots and stuff like that, they're using the digital effects to kind of augment things, to kind of make it its own distinct identity. Still feels like something you could see in New York City. It has that same sort of almost gothic to a certain degree architecture that would transplant from one place to the next.
That sure does look like Selena from behind.
And they even played a little bit of the theme there that she has. That sinking strings or whatnot. I mean, I adore the score on this thing from Michael Giacchino. The soundtrack is like 2 hours long. And it's all just fabulous stuff. And the fact it creates themes for different characters. There's a Batman theme. There's a Bruce theme. There's a Catwoman theme. There's a little bit of a Penguin theme. There's like just adding different things in. He's really a master. And his son worked on the series. He scored the series.
Oh, wow.
Mick Giacchino.
Turturro is so good.
Oh, yeah. Stellar. He was saying so much in the thing, like, he doesn't really play bad guys unless there's something complex to play with it. It doesn't want to just be a standard cookie-cutter bad guy. He wants to have something to kind of chew on to a certain degree.
Right. So, as I'm still blown away by the penguin here.
Yeah. The best scene is yet to come.
Yeah, he's only got a handful of them, but
yeah, he's.
But I know he's in this scene, so I don't know when's a good time to talk about the show.
Sure.
Like I said, I was kind of surprised when the TV show picks up at the end of this movie and carries on.
Yeah.
I was thinking that it was going to be more of a parallel story, or
Sure.
even just a total prequel.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you're really running for mayor, as you like. There's no other opponent now, right?
Right. I mean, unless I don't know.
There's no choice. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, having the series pick up a week after this was such a smart move in my regard, because as we get to the entire thing, there's like a put on like a tidal wave of change put upon the city.
Sure.
And a lot of things are in disarray, so that's a perfect setup for a guy like Oz to try to
make a move
and try to pick up the pieces and try to muscle his way through it as Carmine gets offed, and there's a power vacuum.
Well, that's the guy right there on the left with the mustache.
Yeah, he looks like a goddamn cop all day.
100%. So what's great is that he's still on the Penguin.
Keep a little thread through, yeah. Keep the world connected.
Right, love that. And so the biggest gripe that we had about the Penguin show is that there was no mention of Batman.
Yeah, there's like one news broadcast at the start, and then there's just no mention of it. So.
And then the final scene.
Yeah.
Like literally the final scene.
Yeah.
And whoopsie.
And he goes right for the kid. I like that so much. It's perfect.
The biggest problem that I have with that, like, okay, I understand from a filmmaking standpoint.
Right.
We're going to have a show about the Penguin. This is his story.
Yeah.
It's also the story of Sophia Falcone,
yeah.
and kind of the crime side, right?
Yeah.
And not so much the crime
changing face of organized crime.
Right, not the crime fighter side.
Right.
It's the crime side.
Right.
I get that.
Right.
Now, the only problem is Batman is seemingly ubiquitous throughout his own story.
Yes.
And they're, especially with the Penguin having encountered the Batman in this movie, there's no reason to think that the Penguin wouldn't at least reference the Batman verbally.
Or at least sound like a news broadcast in the background that would at least kind of keep a tab for the audience on what's occupying him. Or something like that. Or...
So...
We both thought the series was phenomenal.
100%.
Phenomenal. It's like Emmy quality type of stuff.
Right.
Through and through. But there's just like... You got this setting up that's all... We got Batman here involved with some very large, like earth-shattering stuff for the entire city here.
Like literally.
Yeah. And you're just kind of questioning a little bit back and forth, like, yeah, I'm loving this thing. So like, it just leaves a little seed in your back of your head, like, what bigger things are happening right now that's occupying Bruce, Batman, or something else like that?
there's a
weeks on
scene.
end.
There's
Yeah.
a scene in episode 6. There were 8, right? 8 total.
8 episodes.
Episode 6. In fact, the title of episode 6 was something like the Gold Summit or something along those lines.
There's something along those
where all of the no good nicks of the city
yeah.
and the different crime groups,
crime bosses and everything.
they all kind of get together, meeting of the minds, and they decide to organize.
Yeah.
With the Penguin as their leader.
Yeah.
Now, that's all well and good,
Right.
but at some point, one of those crime bosses that operates around the entire city
Yeah.
would have mentioned, oh, by the way, that we have a
vigilante in the city.
Batman who is stopping crime.
Right.
Maybe it's not my crime.
Right.
Maybe it's not your crime, but
Well, sure,
there is
some-
crime
we
being
had-
stopped.
And then they had some run-ins with him at some point in time that leaves a little bit of perforation in the story.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I like that he's just been on the other line of this phone,
Yeah.
waiting
For an hour.
He's been calling for hours at this point, waiting for somebody to
Hasn't
answer.
gone to voicemail, nothing.
Well, I assume he just keeps calling back, but
Something, I don't know.
like, so the Riddler,
Huh.
wherever he is, has just been sitting there waiting for somebody to answer the phone.
I think it wasn't on the disc, but I was watching the behind the scenes, and there was a particular thing where Bruce is leaving this building with a duffel bag, as if there was supposed to be a scene where he's running out with the bag, with the suit in it, to go change and come back.
Oh, okay.
So, but the whole, how they cut it just works perfectly.
So, I was very bothered by the idea that Batman was not brought up in any way. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't ever say the word Riddler. Like, it takes place after the events of
A
this.
week after, yeah.
So there's like bombings, there's whatever.
Right.
Like the city's in shambles because it's just been bombed,
Right.
right? And continues to be bombed later
Right.
on. And like at no point do they mention Batman? Do they mention the Riddler?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of thought with all of the scenes Sophia was in Arkham that there would be some sort of hint at the Riddler. No, I'm sorry, at the Joker, because
Possibly.
clearly
Even
the
if they're
Joker,
segregated by gender or whatnot.
right? But I don't know,
Anything
like
like that, yeah.
something.
Something.
It felt too disconnected to be part of the same universe.
Right.
Like it's so good, and it fits together so good,
Right.
but it's almost like there was.
It's a delicate thing because, like, you don't want to go in there and start mentioning Batman 30 times and he doesn't
No.
show up.
Right.
But at least there's an artistic way to kind of lay it out in the background that it still exists and things are still going on outside of it while still holding it back. So. And a lot, I mean, of course, there are people putting up videos and all types of speculation about is he going to show up in the last episode or this, that, and other thing, and what's keeping him busy. There was a little thing from Pattinson recently that apparently in the sequel, not really revealing too much in that regard, but just felt like it's going to be becoming harder for Bruce to be Batman because he doesn't know, more or less like trying to figure out, more along the lines of just trying to figure out his place on both ends of things as Bruce and Batman and trying to reconcile them together.
I would have liked to see a Bruce Wayne reference,
Yeah.
or even
As the mayor was trying to court him in this film, he
right.
was saying like Wayne Industries is working on this, that, and the other thing with the new mayor or something like that. Just a little something.
Right, even if it was one scene of Pattinson on the TV,
Yeah,
or
some B-roll footage they had left
right.
over.
I don't know, but like they drew this invisible wall
Yeah.
and said, we are not going to, like, we are so separate from that.
Right.
But yet, don't forget that we're connected.
Right.
And it's weird.
Right.
Like, yes, we're in the same universe. Hey, don't forget that we're all the same thing, and this is a sequel, and whatever. But never the two shall meet.
Right. It's a little.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, it really irked me.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't make the series any bit worse for me, but it was just something nagging in the back of my head. It's like, just kind of him hawing over a little bit.
Well, right, because you can't ask me to believe that they're in the same reality when you don't talk about one during the other.
Right.
Like, it's one thing if you just want to say, this exists outside of that.
Right. It was a tad sort of similar thing after they did the first Avengers film. Then you started going off to do everyone's separate stories. Like, Iron Man is being attacked by terrorists in this film. Where's Captain America? Where's S.H.I.E.L.D.? Or everyone else? He doesn't have anyone to call on to battle the big guy again?
Right, because they've already been together once. So
it started to become a little bit of a thing for a short while. It's like, well, isn't this a big enough threat to bring everyone else in on this thing at the same time? It got a little hard to keep the divisions going. We'll keep separate stories going while still keeping the larger world intact. Like they're playing a little subtle game between the two of them.
And what is Gordon's role here?
Well, he's just a lieutenant, I believe.
At this point?
Yeah. He's the only one of a lot of guys.
And the beak here is a captain.
Yeah.
He feels like a captain.
Oh, yeah. Everything.
He's got a voice. I mean, I kind of sound like that. Maybe he's got the same problem I have.
You got punched in the face.
I love that he's all in his face and really crinkling his nose and I'm being a son of a bitch to you. I'm telling you like it is.
Yeah. Again, it still keeps a little of the wry wit. So keeping a little tether on the drama.
Right.
Where he moonlights as a cop. So like, cop's the secondary thing.
Nobody would have had that door
secured.
Right. Walled off or something on the other officer on the other side.
Like that gadget, man.
Everyone just firing their guns in the shop. How many floors is this building? It's at least 16.
Oh. Wasn't quite expecting that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, how great is it that he's human?
Right.
Like,
oh shit.
That's the only reason that Batman is my favorite guy.
I love this entire idea here. This whole apparently originally before COVID hit, they were going to try and do this like a real like wingsuit guy and a whole bunch of other things, but they felt like after COVID, it was just there was too many logistical problems with it.
That's Chicago, by the way, right there.
So they literally just almost kind of just stitched this together from like shooting like the top of the buildings. Both a soundstage and the wider shots are like Liverpool, and then this part of Chicago. There's other stuff here and there. And he would it on the volume,
and he would be dead. By the way,
yeah, sure.
I don't care what that suit's made out of. The way he hit the ground and rolled through the trash cans.
But how they actually made that scene was like it's very impressive, like the skill that they put into creating the entire sequence by putting together from all these different parts.
They've also created this. They've created this this kind of mystery.
Yeah.
And I really respect the mystery aspect of it. Like, and there's a lot of layers to this onion.
Yeah. There's so much. One of the people I heard talk about the film was like, it was the first Detective Comics film. A lot of things are just Batman films, but someone took that direct type of thing that was, because DC stands for Detective Comics,
right?
And so they took it all the way back to that primordial sense that a lot of the early Batman comics were him cracking mysteries and stuff like that, trying to follow leads and so on and so forth. So they really took it back to a very primordial, world's greatest detective idea.
I love looking at the Penguin character here and having foresight.
Yeah, where he's going.
And knowing, like, I know what his backstory is.
Oh, yeah, he's a monster and a half. I love how the series makes you both root for and against the same person at the same time.
Right, like he's your hero, right? And you're like, oh my god, I love this Penguin. I know he's a bad guy, but I like the heel, and like I want him to win.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you're like, oh my god, this guy's awful.
Yeah.
I was in particular in the the penultimate scene of the show, where he murders his friend.
God damn it!
Like, totally threw me.
Oh yeah.
I was like, mouth open.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh my lord.
Oh, is that one of the twins? I think it was.
Yeah. It's so much an interesting thing. Her whip is actually a bike chain. There's more of a practicality about it. Like, why would she just have a whip? Go out and buy a whip.
Did you see all the other BDSM shit in her closet?
Sure. But it was just like,
you saw the same stuff I did.
Right. But for someone who's working like a waitress at a freaking club or whatnot, it just makes sense because she's got the motorbike. She'd have a bike chain, and since it's like a segregated type of thing,
right?
It's a great idea to just create it from the ground up.
That was her friend, right?
Yeah,
in the duffel bag.
Trunk, yeah, dead.
So, I love, like I was saying, knowing what we know now about the Penguin here, and knowing how he got to this point.
Yeah.
And,
makes him even more fearsome.
It really does. Christ. I did wish, I kind of wished that we got a little bit more of the Penguin aesthetic, other than the final scene.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's the final scene of the show where
the tux and everything.
The tux with the hat and the cane.
Yeah.
Now he's at an umbrella, and I love the purple car. Oh my god,
car. Lovely.
The purple. I mean, purple is my favorite, as you know, and the purple car was like, I was just hard watching that thing.
Oh my lord.
Better than this car.
Live in hell. I mean, this thing's roaring up like crazy. Like
some Christine shit.
Demon from hell.
Very excited for the new Christine, by the way.
Interested.
Yeah, I'm very interested. We're gonna have to cover that whenever it comes out.
We got a few new King adaptations coming up in the cycle of things.
Yeah, there's some new stuff coming out in 2025.
Yeah, new Running Man.
Right, that we want to cover.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to do a commentary on The Long Walk, but I am so excited for that fucking movie, which I've heard is now completed production, and it's in post right now.
This whole sequence is fucking killer. Apparently, like, the cars weren't driven from the inside. They had like a pod up top that had all the controls for a different driver.
No shit.
So the actors could actually go about their stuff without worrying about driving at 60 miles per hour down a rain-soaked street.
Usually what they do is they pull it, like with a tow.
Trailer,
a tow, yeah.
And then some of the actually shot in that regard, but the other stuff they did on the stagecraft type of thing, and they had all these screens all around them to create the entire backdrop. They have the sprinklers going,
and in scenes like this, where you can clearly see the full cars, is obviously just a stunt driver.
Yeah.
So it's a combination, right?
Yeah.
Of stunt driver, tow car, pod, like our remote control kind of situation, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And then again, the fucking editing. The editor wins here, right?
Oh yeah.
Because they literally just shoot the whole sequence like 4 times.
Yeah.
I would
over
bet.
and over again. I mean, that's why you got to do like storyboards, pre-visualization stuff.
Right.
That way, that's a template to follow along with to know how to put it together. Oh.
I also like the idea that this and the Penguin show are set in a modern time, but it's also a timeless time.
Yeah, well, because like they were talking about Penguin's outfit. Like he's got an '80s like leather trench coat on, but he's got kind of the '40s, '30s pinstripe suit and everything.
But he has a cell phone.
Yeah.
So
So he's got a classic aesthetic.
And that purple Mercedes was like a brand new car.
Yeah. So I mean, they found the right things, because as you're going through the series, you find like he loves all those old black and white films and whatnot, so that feeds into his gangster aesthetic.
Like the movie Top Hat that he watched while his fucking brothers were drowning.
Yeah. Jesus, Mother Christ.
That got me so bad.
Yeah.
Not so much.
That's when it's like, this guy is fucking garbage.
Dude, it wasn't so much that he killed his brothers. I was fine with that. I was fine with him killing his brothers. I don't care about them. Whatever. Like, that's some cold-hearted shit. But the fact that he sat there and watched a movie with his mom while it was happening.
On his face.
Yes! Fuck!
Yeah. Oh, my Lord. But this sequence, the music in this sequence, fucking Giacchino's fucking on steroids here.
Can we talk about the practical effect of breaking all these semis and shit?
There ain't no CGI cars here, man. This is all real. Oh, that's great. It's all great. Blow some stuff up for real, man. Oh.
I don't know how Colin Farrell doesn't get nominated for an Emmy.
Him, Christine Milioti.
For Sophia, yep.
Deidre O'Connell for Oz's mother.
She was fantastic.
Oh my Lord.
Like, the kid was good, but he wasn't.
Best lead actress, supporting actress.
Yeah, I think those 3 are a shoo-in.
Yeah.
And what's great about it is that it will be categorized as a limited series / mini-series, which is not as tight of competition.
Yeah. Oh, that theme, man, I love it.
So that will be
when I sit down and start reading my Nightwing or Batman comics, this is the soundtrack I put on while I'm reading that stuff, because it's so moody and atmospheric. Oh,
That's good sound.
It's good shit.
Good
man.
sound.
Oh, Lord.
The Emmy season, like the year, the Emmy year runs from June through May.
Okay.
So,
It's great seeing he's got here, man.
and then the awards for that are in September.
Yeah.
So
It's a long way to go, but...
that means that for the current Batman show, it will be next September before we get any sort of winners or losers. Right.
This is Farrell scene so much.
So I can hear Colin Farrell's voice a little bit. Like, I can picture Colin Farrell making this voice. But other than that, it's...
Immersive. Here, I like this bet. It's so fucking good. I seriously thought he probably deserved something for this performance just in the film alone. It's fabulous.
URL. That's so good.
It fits with his fucking sense of humor. The Riddler's sense of humor is like kind of cringy. It's, and like I said, it's really dad jokey type of stuff.
But it's
It's clever
so
enough,
smart.
though. Yeah.
It's bad joke, but it's
It
smart.
makes you feel
joke.
dumb for not figuring it out sooner.
And I love, again, the idea that whenever they figured it out, here was the Riddler just sitting at the other end of the computer,
Yeah,
ready
just waiting on
ready
it.
to go. Very good. All of it. And I love that his cursor is a question mark.
Yeah, nice.
Like,
Yeah.
how great is
And it's
that?
all green, too. Man. All aesthetics, man.
Goodbye.
He's so shackled
Yeah,
up
I
and
like that.
everything.
So good.
Oh, my Lord.
Gotham Orphanage. When in doubt, slip the name of the town
Yeah.
and then whatever the building is.
Haddonfield Children's Clinic.
That's it. Nailed it. Whatever you need. Yeah. Name of the town, name of the business, type of business.
That was our midpoint there.
Shit.
This is our midpoint of the film.
Fuck me. Like, if we have to take bathroom breaks, then you just pardon us and we'll disappear for a little bit.
But in terms of, like, this sequence fits for a midpoint turn. When he learns that it all ties back to his family.
It really does feel like it's been longer than 90 minutes at this point.
It does. Because the interesting thing is, like, yeah, it's a long film, but at least it's steadily paced. Because you could get a 3-hour-long film that is not paced well. It could feel like it's very, very baggy, or maybe it's ramping up and slowing down in too much of a weird interval.
And again, it just was playing at the perfect time, this video. Like, I don't think you can put that kind of projector on a loop, can you?
Unless maybe Riddler had it on a remote activation.
I suppose, maybe.
Maybe. But...
He's kind of probably shitting his pants a little bit here that people are going to find out who he is, right?
He's freaking out a little bit here. Again, that's the eye acting. You can see the fear in his eyes.
His neck
kind of panic. He's also realizing if Bruce himself is the next victim, the next person that's a barrier to that is Alfred.
Right.
Like the bust. It's almost like the Adam West.
Right, the lift the head.
Yeah. Nice little touch.
I like that they used a very distinct handwriting.
Yeah, right.
You know, just... I know it's not much, but...
Yeah. It triggers you, right?
Right, because... from the first time you saw that, you kind of went, ooh, that's peculiar.
Yeah.
And then now you know that when you see that, it really... like, it triggers you, right, in a bad way.
That's interesting to say. They have a rotary one. It's all very particular. Again, it's all very particular aesthetics.
Right, because, like we were saying, some things are very modern and some things are very old.
Yeah. Not just nice reveals overall.
And I love that the time they were kind of askew on the linear timeline. Yeah. Great, love that. Super creepy.
Oh.
It looked like Alfred kind of avoided the blast. I don't know.
Still. He easily could have gotten a concussion or something like that.
Sure. I'm not saying that it wasn't, ill effective.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it was that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that they have a monogram coffee table or whatever this is. All right, here we go. Let's get all the... I love it.
Your deal, yeah.
I love it. Let's get everything spread out on the floor. Let's write notes and postcards and... I mean, the only thing we're missing are pin boards and thread.
Yeah.
Very thin. This is good.
Yeah.
I love this look.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish that I could look like that. I did at some point in my life, and not anymore. Gotham Renewal Program. Man. I see a lot of similarities in, well, the world we live in today. Unfortunately.
No.
No?
I was saying, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, suppose if the nukes go off and we're all dead in 6 months, then, you know, this has been fun.
Like the dead zone try to tell you people. You wouldn't listen.
That's right. That's right. She looks so good in that suit.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting that she's revealed herself to him, but he has not returned the favor.
Yeah. Well, even then, it's like, first time you saw her was in the club.
Right. I just, I feel like in previous iterations of the character, there was a little bit more attempt to maintain the mystique.
A little bit, yeah.
But maybe not. I mean, I know, like in Returns, they were very. I think I know, but I don't really know.
Not until they're at the masquerade ball and things get a little serious.
Oh, look at that face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She just said that, you dummy. Probably better to have Lenny Kravitz as your dad than Falcone as your dad, I would think.
Yeah.
They're probably equally rich. So that's apples to apples.
This
but
is one just a little more legitimate.
Right.
Less strangle heavy than the other one.
So the implication here is that he does know. I mean, he might not want to. He wants to keep it a secret, obviously, but I feel like he knows. In which case, I'm still kind of bothered by the idea that they just randomly threw it in the Penguin, where Sophia gets the letter at the, like, I mean, we're talking seconds away from the end of the show.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, this is from your half-sister. Like, wouldn't she be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't have a half-sister. And then, you know, it's not like she was...
Right.
Also, is Arkham... I'm confused.
Actually, it's called Gotham State Hospitals. It's not yet called Arkham.
I think she called it Arkham in the show.
Maybe.
I thought she did. Pretty sure she did. But
at least in this thing, it was called Gotham State Hospital, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, either way.
Arkham is the name of Bruce's mother. Her maiden name is Arkham, so I don't know where that comes together.
All right.
Any which way.
Either way.
Trivia.
So, when Sophia Falcone is locked away for 10 years because they think that she's
the hangman.
the hangman, she is in the mental asylum, basically.
Yeah. Go.
And then at the end of the show, she's arrested by the cops and she's in jail.
Yeah.
But yet it's the same place.
Yeah.
That confuses me.
Same doctor comes in that she's been conspiring with.
How do you feel about the theory that he was actually a figment of her imagination the whole time? Have you heard this?
I've not heard this thing, but
So
it seems plausible to a degree, but the fact that
there's not a lot of scenes where he interacts with anyone other than her,
Right.
except for the scene with the mother.
Right.
But I don't know, like even then, it could be not a thing.
Sure. People were speculating that he might have been, as they kind of like changed, like the Riddler's last name is not Nigma, it's Nashton. They kind of
Right, sure.
It's not Cobblepot, it's Cops. There's some
Right.
amendments and alterations on. They thought he might have been a different character from the comics with his name changed or something else.
Sure,
like,
like he was going to become a different villain or something.
Phil thought maybe that.
Which could still happen.
There's a lot of stuff to tie up with him. Yes, there's a lot more roads to go with that character.
So,
Edward, yeah. This thing, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of little threads they throw in here that make people think that the sequel might go in different directions, because I don't know if it came up. There's a part in this thing that comes up with the word hush. And that ties in with a character named Tommy Elliot, who's the son of Edward Elliot, who Tommy becomes the character of Hush, who's a major villain in a big storyline in the comics, where the Riddler's actually the main, like, puppet master of the whole thing, right there. So people they're thinking maybe Hush is maybe one of the villains they're going to do. Or another story might be the Court of Owls, which ends up being the secret society at the base of Gotham that's been kind of being also kind of puppet masters in the history of the city. There's a lot of little things been laid in that people are kind of picking up on, that it might go here, might go there.
well, we've also introduced Barry Keoghan at the end of this.
As a Joker.
As the Joker.
They built the world. We'll have to see what threads they pull on
I almost-
go in places.
I almost feel like they won't do the Penguin as a major.
No, that's why I said, as Farrell's kind of said, he maybe has like maybe half a dozen scenes in the script he has for the sequel. I like this, like, comedies in threes, right? They played this scene 3 times in 3 different ways in the movie. It's a really smart gag of sorts.
So I found it odd that
Sure.
that the prison, because she wasn't she was just arrested for crime at the end of the show,
Murder, yes.
which is different than being psychologically evaluated,
Sure.
unless it's a separate wing or something. You know what I mean?
It's a little under-defined.
Johnny Slick.
It's like,
It's got to be very taxing on the part of Bruce Wayne to know that his father, who he idolized,
right.
was potentially a little wishy-washy in the
culpable.
in the lane of corruption.
Right. And that makes it a very interesting story as it swerves in different places here. That anytime we've got an adaptation that actually does anything with Thomas Wayne, he's always just the pillar
Right,
of the community.
right,
He just
right.
he's just squeaky clean. There's nothing really complex involved with him.
No, he's like just the greatest businessman.
He's like a pearl statue in the courtyard. I like this one takes a lot more shades to the entire story. The mother had some psychological problems that were trying to be kind of kept away from the public eye and stuff like that. And
then that money was used to create the mental hospital.
Yeah. All this stuff. So, again, it creates a history for Gotham. And it builds out a world. I mean, I like so much how that's done.
It's very Stephen King, actually.
The world isn't just designed with just production design. It's created with a story.
Right. So what I was going to say is Stephen King does this, and literally only with words, though.
Yeah.
You know, there isn't a production design.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be your mental interpretation of, and the characters and their interwoven everything and backstory. It's just fucking incredible. Yeah. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, let's just say the fact that they cast Clancy Brown as Sal Maroni. Fabulous choice.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
Excellent.
Yeah, we covered him on one of our commentaries in the past.
Pet Cemetery 2.
Yeah.
Coincidentally enough. King adjacent,
right. Pet Cemetery 2, what a wild ride that was.
Like the fact that kept the master bedroom just locked up, chained up this whole time.
This is his father's room?
I'm guessing so, yeah. Well, the fact that it has been all chained up, padlocked, closed.
For what, 15 years, 20 years now?
Something.
Mommy, Daddy, Bruce, Gollum.
I could try doing Gollum right now, but there's too much time left in this thing. I need my voice for another hour and 10 minutes.
Edward Cullen. No sparkles.
No. But a vampire who didn't turn into a bat, now he actually plays the bat.
There you go. It's all coming together, folks. You know, people give a lot of shit to the Twilight things. Sure. It really... the books are really poorly written.
I've heard as much.
I mean, really, really poorly written.
Right.
But as far as, like, young adult dramas, like, I really kind of respect it as an entity. It really gave people of a certain age a saga to follow.
Sure, yeah.
And, you know...
catered to someone.
Right. It definitely catered to a certain niche audience. It made billions of dollars as a franchise. Mm-hmm. It made him a star.
Oh, yeah.
Like... okay, maybe it's not for you.
Yeah.
But you can't deny its place in history.
Right.
As weird as it is.
It gave Pattinson the financial cushion to go off and do all the hard-hitting dramas that he did that got him here.
Right.
I like that. I like how everyone...
the voice of reason?
Well, I just like how everyone can add something to the story. Falcone's going to say what it is to make him look the best. And kind of taint the other guy. Take a little bit of the shine off the other guy and make him kind of... I just did what he told me. He just told me to go off and...
do whatever it took.
Do what it took. So we knew what I was getting into. It's his fault. But now Alfred's kind of saying, like, this guy... he had a lapse of judgment. He was... kind of emotionally vulnerable in the situation, and he made a bad choice.
He confided in a friend, and in a moment of weakness, asked for help that maybe
from
he
a
didn't.
guy that really should have known better to ask for
Right,
that type
right,
of thing.
right.
It would take it to an extreme that he would hang over him.
And he's saying that maybe Falcone had the parents killed.
He doesn't. He
doesn't know.
He doesn't know for certain, but it's something that hangs over like it's enough of a possibility that I can't let go of the thought of it.
Right, because now
It seemed just a little too coincidental to be that random.
like Wayne had some knowledge that would put Falcone away.
Yeah.
So it was like maybe it was a tying up of loose ends.
Wayne would have taken the dive and meant condemning the guy and doing the right thing.
Right. So tie up the loose end.
And
Yep.
that restores Bruce's belief in his father. That he would have said, the hell of a mayoral campaign. He would have stepped forward and done the right thing in the right moment and be damned with whatever the further consequences were to himself.
I don't know why all the Batman and Bruce Waynes feel the need to have this gravelly voice. Like it's almost like a whisper.
A little bit, yeah.
And it's unnecessary, in my opinion. But you know what? Whatever. I thought it was interesting going back to a couple scenes ago.
Sure.
When they first showed Alfred in the hospital and they said something about notifying next of kin. Then I remembered the goofy, like the Batman Robin story where he had like the weird brother in Germany or wherever the fuck. And I'm glad they didn't try to pull that here.
Yeah, no. Bruce is his next of kin.
That's right. Uh-oh. Signal's up. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go.
I like the fact they got this entire abandoned construction site that things got so bad in the city. Like they built the entire framework of this building and the money just fell out, and people went bankrupt and stuff like that. The city's in that bad of a shape.
Meanwhile, she's up here beating some ass. This is the cop, right? With the broken nose.
Yeah.
That okay. I like that the Batman still has that idea that we don't just kill people.
Right.
We bring them to justice.
Right. Well, even Pattinson was saying there's an urge in him that he wants to kind of do it, but he won't. That he refuses to do it. He's got all this rage and the trauma inside of him. And he's trying to control as best he can. He won't go past that line, but he gets real close. Like at the beginning when he's beating up the thugs at the train station, he could have beaten that guy's fucking brain in, but he stopped at a certain point in time, pulled himself away from it. So I like the fact that the story is so much that him figuring out what he's been doing doesn't work the way it's supposed to. And he has to kind of rethink what he's been doing to become more effective when he does. Trying to inflict his trauma and pain on everyone else. It's not quite the way to go about it. That's not the way to make change.
It's a very interesting face covering she's got there.
Yeah.
What does covering your nose actually conceal?
Sure.
Both your eyes and your mouth and your jawline
Right.
are open. Can you imagine? Because they said they had like $1 billion, right?
Something like that, yeah. Big fund for infrastructure, getting people back on their feet, all the types of stuff. Everything to revitalize the city.
And then that also explains why the city's still in shambles, because all the cops and all the mob people took the money.
Yeah.
You can't go back.
Yeah. Oh.
That's a really great line, by the way. Couldn't they get her on attempted murder for that? I think they could. I think they could.
Mm-hmm.
He's got all the best toys, doesn't he?
But I like the fact that he gives Gordon the cell phone so he can have the evidence. He can go to the press, he can go to everyone else.
Other cops, sure.
And get the legitimacy of it.
Right.
Well, Batman, he wants to stop Selina from making the worst mistake of her life. Because it just shows so much how he cares for her. That he's going to... It's not about saving Falcone as much, it's about saving her. Some of rando just went off and blew his head off. Batman wouldn't care as much as he does if it was her specifically making that mistake. And the third version of it.
You're right. It's really great how consistent they were with this.
Yeah. And each time in a slightly different persona.
Great acting on her part, too, because both physically and from a storyline perspective, because...
Yeah. I mean, she knows that Falcone's at least sweet on her, whether he actually knows...
I feel like I think he does. He has to. If her mother worked at the club and then got pregnant and then she brought the baby to the club,
yeah, you'd
like,
think so.
I think that
connected well enough, yeah.
I don't know how that necessarily makes him a rat, but Hey, Dad. Okay, so maybe he didn't know.
Yeah.
Until right now. How did she miss? That's dumb. It really bothers me when obvious gun things in movies go the way they do. You know, where the bad guy shoots for 72 rounds and doesn't hit anything.
Yeah.
And the good guy shoots once.
Yeah.
Like, I get that maybe she's not so great at shooting a gun because she's not experienced with it.
Sure.
But at the same time, she was only about 12 feet away from him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like hitting the broadside of a barn. I mean, you could... when you're that close, how do you miss? Also, how did broadside of the barn get to become a slang idiom?
No
an
idea.
idiom? Aren't all sides of barns broad enough that they work?
This is just great. Just all lit by the friggin' flashes.
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's really good filmmaking. Although now we have light here.
Yeah, from the fireplace. Or the ambient light outside.
Ow. She's shown already that she has exceptional martial arts skills.
Yeah.
So I don't know why she wouldn't try to use them instead of the gun. The gun seems more final, but...
Yeah.
Oh, there's old Chokey.
Yeah.
Or strangly. What, I don't know what the word you used was, but it was hilarious. Isn't that one of the most classic bad guy?
Oh, yeah, you made me do this.
You made me do it.
Yeah.
How ridiculous is that? Like, that's such a heel thing to say.
yeah.
That I'm not in control of my actions, but it's your...
I'm not responsible.
Right. You, the victim,
Yeah.
are responsible for your own fate.
Yeah.
That's how they justify it in their mind.
Mm-hmm. Them fucking nails, man. That was a killer. Just scratch him to death.
That's right.
Pluck out his eyes.
Cat scratch fever, baby. Funny enough, the guy that's saying that also sang Stranglehold, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all connected to Uncle
Yeah.
Ted. Here we go.
I love this.
Turturro is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh, I love it.
All the Turturros are fantastic,
Sure.
but this one in particular
Yeah.
really gets me.
Oh, yeah. Zorro. Yeah, I love it. Love this. Damn straight. There's that, again, that cop. Keep him in. Keep circling him through.
I don't see him.
No, it's right there. It's the one.
Oh, I didn't
cuffing him.
think that was him. I thought that was a different guy.
No, that was the guy who stopped Batman at the crime scene.
Oh,
Not the captain.
Not the captain. Okay.
The other guy.
Yeah, the one
Well,
who
he got the
the
great
one,
same great mustache.
yeah, the one who put his hand up and said, "Oh, look at that suit!
Yeah, look
Fuck
at
yeah!"
Scale it down, right on you. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's going to get him off. I like this moment, too, coming up.
Yeah, but somebody did.
Yeah, I like this moment. Because in this moment, because he had the entire story of going to the Wayne's house when he got shot or injured before, and Bruce was looking at him from above.
Right.
At that moment, he knows he's looking at the same kid's eyes. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he's the one that stopped him.
Yeah, he keeps cycling through the film. Nice.
Even though there's hundreds and hundreds of cops.
But he seems like a guy like Gordon Trust to a certain degree. So he's kind of... He was there with more, kind of giving him a lookout.
Ow.
Yeah.
No wonder he's all beaten, bent to hell.
No shit.
Scars all over his body.
With all that armor, man. I mean, it's not padding. It's just armor.
Remind me again how he knew where to go here.
Because he saw him in the window with
the
sniper rifle.
Got it. Okay. While that was happening, we were talking about the looking up at him from the thing.
Yeah.
And, so. Man, I loved Oz's purple suit.
Oh, lovely.
I need to get a purple suit. I'm in at the indulgent one. I haven't bought a new suit in like 15 years.
Oh.
This is very emblematic of that famous painting of the New York diner.
Nighthawks.
Is that what it is?
I think it's Nighthawks painting.
And here we have really the first on-screen reveal
Dano.
of Dano. Yeah. Who has never turned in a bad performance.
Yeah. I first saw him in Prisoners with Villeneuve. It's not too far from what this is, but goddamn, he's impressive.
How the man didn't win an Oscar for There Will Be Blood is beyond me. How There Will Be Blood didn't win every fucking Oscar that ever lived is beyond me. I am so passionate about There Will Be Blood not winning every fucking Oscar.
Nice, I like the smile.
I think There Will Be Blood is one of the best movies of the last 20 years. And I remember sitting in the theater watching it, and it's one of the most brilliant film. Like, the cinematographer won for sure. Obviously, Daniel Day-Lewis won. And I knew in the first 20 minutes of the movie that Daniel Day-Lewis was going to win because there's literally no dialogue.
I mean, he's the greatest living actor, isn't he?
Yes. He's literally...
He's retired now, so...
I heard he might be coming back for something.
He gets tired of cobbling shoes.
So, the first 20 minutes of There Will Be Blood... Did you see it?
You're making me want to see it now.
The first 20 minutes of There Will Be Blood has no dialogue.
It's like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah. And I knew from minute 20 that it was over. He won. And my God. Oh. I think that was the year that... No, it's not the year that King's Speech won, because Colin Firth also won.
Yeah.
But Daniel Day-Lewis won that year, so I don't remember. This is also very Seven.
Yeah, this much. I mean, they were taking this entire thing with the journals from, like, real, like, psychopath, serial killer type of guy, so...
I love the whole concept of the Riddler. Both in, you know, like the Frank Gorshin era of just
exuberance.
Right, just whimsical, like, craziness.
Yeah.
I love the Jim Carrey interpretation. I just don't like how it was written.
Right.
But I like the way he played it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this, where he's like straight up serial killer.
Right.
Like, he's scary.
Yeah, I mean, from, like, the animated series onwards, they tried to make him more of a cerebral, serious type of villain.
Right. And, I don't know, I've always, like, I love wordplay. I love puzzles. Yeah. I love English. I like the bad guy. And smart bad guys, to me, are the best.
Yeah.
So I really do think that maybe this is the best Riddler there ever has been.
Mm.
And I love the greeting cards. $500 followers. It really scares me to think that I would be one of them. Like you were saying, the folks standing outside the courthouse, wearing the Riddler hoodie. That should be a thing. Did they make hoodies with that Riddler?
I'm sure,
from this movie?
Sure, it's on Etsy somewhere.
I need to look at this. I need a Riddler hoodie.
I like how Bruce is looking over everything, and he seems like he thinks he's exposed now. Gordon doesn't like the sound of that.
Well, who would? I mean, honestly, Batman's a better cop than most of the cops.
Sure, yeah. I mean, no one else has been able to figure this shit out.
Right. Like, every single riddle, Batman's been like, oh yeah, it's just this.
Right.
You idiot.
Yeah.
You know? You're a better one.
Yeah. At least if he feels like he's going to be exposed, it's going to be end of him. Give Gordon that vote of confidence.
Your homework is to watch There Will Be Blood. There really aren't many movies that affect me in a way where it's a generationally good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And a good performance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's literally no other actor in the world that has 3.
I was going to ask how many he's got, because
he's got 3.
He probably doesn't have enough.
He does not have enough. He won for My Left Foot in 1989. He won for
Lincoln
in 2012. And he won for There Will Be Blood. No other male actor has 3.
Yeah.
A lot of actors with 2. He's the only one with 3. There are females that have. I think Katharine Hepburn has 4. Anyway, what were you? Oh,
no,
okay. I thought you were going to say something.
Nothing.
So yes, as far as male actors go, for lead actor, he is the most decorated.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Dano should have won supporting actor that year.
This is Gotham State Hospital for some reason instead of Arkham.
It says Arkham.
Oh, it does say Arkham?
It says Arkham State Hospital.
I can't read anything no more.
I love that he's just a regular guy. You know what I mean? Just fantastic stuff out of this guy.
And I love the context of the scene. Batman feels exposed like hell.
Yeah, Batman feels very exposed here.
Yeah. Then you cut back to his close-up, like you can see the fear in his eyes. Yeah. You feel like he's crawling back inside himself.
So,
and
then he kind of realizes that maybe he doesn't know. Right there, you see it?
It's all
like the whole time he's thinking, he got me.
Yeah.
He knows who I am.
That energy's just been released off his shoulders.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? He's talking to Batman like they're in concert with this whole thing.
Right.
It's that entire misinterpretation of what Batman meant for himself to projecting to the city.
This is such a great psychological break, right?
It makes Riddler even more psychotic.
Yes, for sure. And when you really break it down, that the last 5 minutes there, where he's literally trembling with the idea that the Riddler of all people has figured him out, and then all of a sudden it's the weight, the relief. And then the denial.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Just such good work. God damn it, I love him. I've loved him. I don't know what the first thing I ever saw him in was, but
he's just scary and unhinged here. Now he's just disappointed in him. Roller coaster of.
Well, it really is. It's the psychotic break, right? Yeah. Ooh. I got a little shiver.
Yeah. I mean, it's all in the performance. I mean, you can write it, but you need someone to find the take on it that just runs the chills up your spine.
There's something about Ave Maria that I feel like has been used enough in negative situations that it's like I'm almost conditioned to be afraid of that song.
Like the idea of the blade and the symbol.
Well, where else would you keep it?
Right, it's practicality.
Same cop. Why is that cop in the apartment? Did Batman come through a window or something?
Why did he go through the front door?
At this point in the story, don't you think that he doesn't care what you think? Bingo!
That's nice. You gave this character a piece
A purpose.
Of yeah.
Right. Again, you introduce a little character. They're not good unless they make a comeback later on. Yes, oh my God, that's so perfect. I don't know who wrote this, but bravo. Bravo.
Oh, it was Reeves and there was another fella. Peter Craig. Co-wrote The Town, Top Gun Maverick.
No shit. The Town is great.
Town's good. Really good.
Rifles are good. Ready and willing, got you, bro. How much fun would it have been to write this kind of shit, right? Gotham Army surplus. Election day and real change.
A little close to home.
That's right. We just had election day not that long ago. Corruption, perversion,
Yes.
masquerading under the guise of renewal. They must
my
be.
Lord.
They must be talking about. They were predicting the future. Oh, all we can do is laugh. What an elaborate thing to do to your own floorboard,
Yeah.
right? Like install lights.
Well, he is a psychopath.
Boom. He's mouthing boom. All along the city seawall. And now all I can think about is old Vic Aguilar
Yeah.
and his family being washed away right now in the story.
Yep, right at this moment. It's all changing for the worse.
Now, it's not even... it's not enough that he blew up the city seawall and flooded and killed tens of thousands of people. It's, oh, by the way, all my vigilante... my Proud Boys.
Oh, my Lord.
Let's converge on the center... and let's kill everyone that's left.
Yeah.
While they're at the rally. God, he's good. It's weird that they would have mandatory, not evacuation, but like sheltering in a specified location. Take her out of there. The city's flooding.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Where are they going to go?
Where are they going to go? You got a shopper somewhere?
Did you say that they filmed this inside the Thompson Center as well?
I don't think they shot it obviously, because this is doubling for more like a Madison Square Garden instead of...
Well,
Thompson Center is a bit of a conglomeration, like...
Convention center,
building, shops, convention center type of thing. But
yeah, there's like a mall in there.
Yeah, the exterior is what they use as the basis for it. I don't know what they... I think they might have shot the rest of this in like London, somewhere there.
Oh, and there's the kid.
Yeah. He's like...
I do kind of respect this.
Yeah. Progressive attitude.
Right.
You know, Gordon's like, we need to exercise a bit of discretion and caution.
She was out there for 30 seconds and got gunned down.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. That is remarkable.
That's a hell of an entrance.
And what a cool thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
The flippity flop.
Yeah.
The up and down.
Yeah.
Like,
fabulously choreographed.
all of this, I mean, I don't know how realistic it is in real time.
Sure, I'm sure there's some wire work to paint now too.
If you could, if a real person could think of all these maneuvers in real time, probably not. In that aspect, it feels very staged. But I can suspend that disbelief because it's so entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the whole reason that I like Batman and I really don't like any other superhero is because he is legitimately just a regular person. He does not have superpowers.
Right. He's vulnerable.
Yeah, because...
But he pushes through.
Right, it's not science fiction.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You mean you don't have one of those bat gadgets to just click, clickety click, and up you go? And we're insinuating that the seawall has now encroached 2 feet into Gotham Square Garden.
Yeah.
They're so on the nose with the
naming is a little
the New York
too much.
items.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But again, whatever, I don't care.
Right.
You just happen to have one of those on you? A little boom boom?
Nice.
Really well, the cinematography here is awesome. And the production, right, with the smoke machines and whatever,
everything.
However they had to, oh, that one looks like the real one because he's got the glasses on the outside, but he's locked up, so we know it's not.
Yeah.
I love the water underneath and the people and the... Can you help a little bit, sir? I mean, I know he was shot.
Yeah.
Maybe he got shot in that metal thing in his chest, so it deflected a little bit.
Still probably took the air right out of him.
Oh, I can't even imagine if you get hit with one of those like rubber bullets or whatever, the beanbag thing.
Oh yeah.
Whatever it is, like
it's coming at a velocity that's going to hurt no matter what.
I kind of thought that he was going to reveal himself here. The kiss is fine.
Yeah. Well, this bit coming up is a hell of a thing.
He's got so many gadgets.
Yeah.
What, like an EpiPen? Is that what that was?
I'm guessing it's like an adrenaline shot or something.
Yeah.
It's just so consumed.
Yeah, he's like shaking.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that, like, the madman mastermind could dupe so many civilians into believing his own concept that they would
carry out his own plan.
Right, right.
There it is. That's the moment.
Now this water comes in. I mean, this effect is great, but at the same time,
Dramatic license.
Like, wouldn't this have already happened? The bombs went off like half hour ago. Yeah, if that falls in the water,
you're all dead.
Everyone's fried. Beautiful cinematography.
Oh, yeah.
And he cut the cord so that it wouldn't
kill anyone else.
Right, right. Oh, I just got one of these too. You know, anything you need. Fucking Swiss Army knife. I guess what they didn't get right as far as copying Madison Square Garden is that the arena is actually on like the 5th floor.
Yeah, yeah.
And here, when the water broke, it was like below sea level, right?
Right.
I mean, it was a great visual of the water coming in and down the seats.
Yeah, yeah.
But not the case. Mm-hmm. Because the bottom floor of Madison Square Garden is the train station.
Yeah.
You have to go up to literally like the 4th floor before you even enter the arena.
Yeah.
Talk about a place that feels like magic when you go in it. I've been there twice. Yeah. And just the history, man. Whew.
Yeah. But, I mean, I love this sequence so much because one, I mean, he's going to sum it up in a few minutes with the voiceover, but just the fact that realizing, like I said before, trying to inflict pain and trying to externalize his trauma against all the criminals of Gotham isn't going to change anything. Because again, the film's like, I've been at this for 2 years. I don't feel like everything's only gotten worse. And now he understands why, because he's been doing it wrong.
Real quick, can we talk about how she just had salty seawater in her gunshot wound?
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
And was not reacting to it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
But just
floating coffee pot. Cheers.
But it is just the thing, like, it gets Batman so well with this ending. Because Batman will defend Gotham. He needs to be a defender of what Gotham should stand for. He's not there just to inflict terror on the criminals. He's there to protect the people. He needs to be saying for the people.
Some will seize the chance to grab anything they can with the overview of the Penguin.
Perfection.
It really is, because I'm guessing they knew in advance that they were going to have a Penguin show.
Whether it was a series or in the next film, they knew they were going to get that arc.
Even though over the next 3 weeks or months during the Penguin story, you're going to be nowhere to be found.
Sure.
Super annoying. Like, it really bothers me. He didn't have to be a character on the show.
Just a presence in the background. Something.
And really all it took was one sentence for somebody to recognize that he exists in the world.
But I like this so much. These are the moments that make the character. You know, Batman's a dark character. He's swallowed up in trauma, but he can still be a symbol of hope for what...
Is that the mayor's kid?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But Batman can still be a dark symbol of hope for a city that has none. that there can't be someone out there looking out for you, trying to protect you, trying to make the city a safer place. So I like the fact that that's so much. That gets Batman more than a lot of the other films I feel have done.
And this scene is only about 45 seconds long.
They're about.
And it's excellent casting.
Yeah.
I can't even, like, the Joker's never really been my guy.
Sure, yeah.
Yes, there have been many wonderful iterations of the Joker. I've liked almost all of them, yeah. I just never get excited about the Joker.
Sure. And lately there's been a lot of Joker, and I feel like, I hope they just keep it a little bit on ice. They don't go, maybe they wait till the third film and do something big with them and keep them just a little sprinkled in the background. You use some breathing room right now with Joker. And they did this in Reeves' entire idea for the Joker is that he's a character a lot like the Elephant Man, but a more sadistic type of way, where he's just born with these deformities. He's got like boils on his hands and his face is all mangled up. That he's basically a freak from birth, and that's molded his entire personality. So, if anyone does go off and watch the deleted scene, you can at least see the makeup work they did for it, and it's very intriguing.
So I'm very excited to see Barry Keoghan. If they keep that casting, they might not.
We'll see.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah. See where they're going.
It's not like they showed. He wasn't a role like the Penguin,
right?
Where if they recast it, it wouldn't be the same,
right? We'll see where things go.
That's kind of the fun part about knowing a sequel is coming or knowing that the next movie is like. I'm also really excited for the next James Bond because there's going to be a new Bond and a new villain. Like, and I want to know what's going to be.
We don't know nothing right now.
Right. Like, he is optimism and she is pessimism.
Yeah.
With maybe also some villainous in there.
Yeah, she's willing to fracture a law here and there.
That's right. Gotta go.
Uh-huh. These two are so perfect together.
Married to the job, aren't you? That's right.
Yeah.
Just like most cops and
yeah.
firefighters and that
first responders,
right? Any sort of first responder, yeah. It's in their blood, man.
Yeah.
And I know because my dad's one of them. I don't know. My dad was a fireman for 49 years.
Oh,
I don't know how you turn that off. He's retired now.
Yeah.
And now he just golfs every day and and hunts when he can't golf. And fishes on the days when he can't do all those two. But, like, how do you turn that off? You know?
I don't know. Well, interesting thing to note, some of the dialogue she just had, she said she was going to go off to Bloodhaven.
Okay.
Which ends up being Nightwing's city.
Okay.
So that kind of ties in. Maybe they're at least keeping that world open for possibilities where they could go.
Down the line, right.
Because anyone who's been following me for the last year and a half, reading Nightwing comics, I dearly love that character. I would kill for a film of this quality given to that character. I would die for it.
Or even a limited series.
Something, yeah. Go for it. I fucking love it.
But I feel like if they did that, they'd have to have Catwoman in it somehow.
Possibly. It wouldn't hurt. Well, considering, like, by that time, Dick Grayson's like 10 years later down the road or something like that. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, I guess it wouldn't be right
be a
here.
More an adult Dick Grayson.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Dick Grayson is a part of the new Batman. As
I'm interested.
I just read that rumor yesterday or the day before, so I saw an image for a poster.
Okay.
And I don't know if...
I'm sure it's fake.
I'm sure it is, too.
Because they've only just started eking out a couple little, like, sound bites of information. They have a script. They're in pre-production now.
And a release date.
There's a release date. They don't have any casting news yet or anything.
Isn't that sad that the world we live in, you have to question whether everything is fake?
Right.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, it sucks.
In a lot of ways, I think this is... I don't want to say it's my favorite.
Right.
But I think it's maybe the best...
Best representation
of Batman. Yeah.
Batman
Yeah.
on live action film.
Yeah, because like it's noir, it's detective,
it's almost like a gothic noir. There's gothic elements, but there's so much of a detective noir element to it. And the psychological layers you have with Batman. You feel the compulsion of him to be Batman here, which I said with the Nolan ones, it didn't feel like they got a psychological element that much with the character. And you feel this Bruce is traumatized. It's hanging over him the whole film.
Yeah, and
it's kind of a journey for him to get a little bit out of that darkness by the end of the film. The one thing I kind of hoped when I first saw it in the theater was the fact I had hoped we'd see a little tinge of like a turn with Bruce himself, like we'd have just like an image of him meeting with the mayor at the end of the film, just to see that the Bruce end of things is taking a turn too. But I guess they can leave that for the sequel and see how that develops and how he takes Bruce out of the shadows and into more of a public stance, maybe. But I feel like they explored the psychological elements and tied the entire story into his background with his family and kind of it just all wraps around very strong.
Colin Farrell, let's give a round of applause for that, man.
Floored by him completely.
Yes. And his entire like progression as a character.
Oh yeah, the writing,
which has ended the story with like his mom is basically gone.
Yeah,
he's shown that he's willing to kill his best friend.
Yeah,
to get ahead and tie up loose ends
and cut out anything that's vulnerable, a weakness to him.
Right. He
very much delusional at this point to a degree.
Kind of, right. He gave up
delusion of grandeur and everything. He's
and a monster.
Oh, he's a monster like hell.
And like he wants to be a respected like that was such a great thing. Like in the show, he spent so much time just wanting his mom's approval.
Yeah.
And like he literally went as far as killing his own siblings.
Yeah.
Because he thought
wanted it all to himself.
He thought that maybe he could get his mom's
undivided attention.
Yeah. And then his entire crime life for his mom.
And then by the time he gets to the top, he can't get that validation no more.
Right. Even though she was never going to give it to him.
No.
Because she always knew.
Yeah.
God damn it, what a great story.
Stuff.
Great story. And so we're left thinking now that the Penguin is kind of the Penguin that you imagine, right?
He's the big crime boss now. There's no one else to oppose him.
Right. And as far as like other Batman villains go, I feel like none of them were really based in the mafia or the crime syndicate.
Right.
They were just crazy because they were crazy.
Closest one would be Two-Face in some sort of iteration.
Sure. Because he had a political connection.
Right.
Sure, I get that.
Yeah.
But, like, the Joker was just crazy.
Right.
People like Mr. Freeze or,
Right.
you know, the goofy characters.
Scarecrow and everything.
Right, they were just kind of these outside weirdos.
Or Ra's al Ghul, he's more of this global sort of higher aspiration type of guy. He's not an organized crime figure. He's got different agendas.
So it's nice to know that we have such a solid foundation to build the Penguin on.
And the fact that he got tied in with this councilman and they kind of bended into his will to a certain degree. Now he's got to link into the higher society, into like the mayor's office, all that type of stuff. He's tied in with the government, political figures.
Right.
He can rise up, be that sort of higher echelon guy with the classy dress and everything, and hobnob and everything. So it's right there. It's so right there.
They've done such a great job at building a bridge.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that it was 8 hours and not just another movie.
Right.
Because
perfect.
I don't know if you could have told the same story. Like, yes, obviously there were side things in there that you could have.
Yeah.
Like, if you were just going to tell the story of the mom
Right.
and Vic and Sophia,
Yeah.
like, you could do that in a 2 or
Right.
3 hour movie.
They even have the entire episode just devoted to Sophia's backstory, which is, that's her Emmy. That's
Real? Her Emmy real?
That's what you give. Just give that episode.
Her
to
submission,
them.
yeah.
That's her submission. That's her episode.
She's got a shot.
Damn straight she does.
She was good.
She's gonna be a front runner no matter what. I don't care who else is in the running.
He was perfect.
I always knew that Colin had potential. Because when he first hit the scene, they're just plugging him into anything like he's a regular, fresh-faced blockbuster type of guy. And it's like, he shined when you found the stuff that really fit for him. You found the right things that he could really take a different angle on and not just be cookie-cutter sort of leading man type of guy. A lot of the stuff he's done in the last 10 years, he's done a lot of these kind of odd sort of indie films and whatnot.
Right,
And he's found a niche that really let him to thrive.
And then, you know, with Brendan Gleeson, it's like his best friend.
Yeah.
And they are so good together. And then they had the one movie with Barry Keoghan.
No.
I don't remember what it was called. It just came out a couple of years ago. They were all nominated.
Was the Banshees?
Yes, yeah.
Sharon?
That one. Banshees of Inisherin. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
I thought Barry Keoghan was going to win an Oscar for that. I really did. And then Keoghan went on to do Saltburn, which got zero love at the Academy. It got no nominations, and it's weird.
Stripped naked for no acclaim.
That's right. I mean, all naked all the time. 5 minutes of full frontal. Maybe it wasn't 5 minutes, but it felt like 5 minutes.
Sure. It lingered on it a little.
Oh, it lingered so much. But damn it, I thought that movie was really gonna
burst it open,
make some waves at the Oscars, but it didn't. But everybody knows who he is now.
Oh yeah.
Between Banshees and that.
Yeah.
I think he was in Killing of a Sacred Deer, which was the same director.
Okay.
So, he's really kind of come a long way and become a thing.
Right.
So I could see
I want to hold on to him.
I do, and I think the Joker could be like the turning point of being the indie darling to being somebody.
Yeah.
Because a lot of film people know who he is.
Right.
But the mainstream media...
Yeah, I haven't caught on yet.
Right. The average Joe, they know who Colin Farrell is.
Yeah. Sure.
Barry Keoghan isn't a name that resonates.
Right. Yeah.
But I think it could. And I think as a Joker,
I liked when I was reading the special things, it's all the comic writers and artists.
Sure.
And the Batman stuff for the last 40 years or something like that.
Heath Ledger didn't need the Joker to become... I mean, it was his last role, so it's kind of weird, but
Brokeback kind of got him there.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is, Nicholson didn't need the Joker.
Oh, no, Nicholson was already Nicholson. Like hell.
Heath Ledger didn't need the Joker. Joaquin Phoenix didn't need the Joker.
No, Joaquin was already on top of the list. Nice.
Goodbye, question mark. Fucking A.
Nice.
Barry Keoghan needs the Joker.
To get up at that level, yeah.
And I'm rooting for him.
Let's keep rooting for him.
I can't wait. Thanks, everyone. This has been fun.
We'll be back in 2.5 years for the sequel.
Sure. And who knows what we'll cover in between then.
We'll see what happens.
You never know.
Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.